want my glory. You ain't make me, you making up stories. I'm self-made and I'm self-paid. At the top it's just us, nigga. Broke boy, you ain't got enough to even come sit next to us, nigga. And I don't think you got enough goons. Got a couple goons in the cut, nigga. My body marked up with war wounds. Mark my words, you fuck niggas. I'ma make it hard for you fuck niggas. I'ma keep fucking all y'all bitches. I'ma keep coming through the fucking trenches. I'ma keep money on me, nigga. I keep the 40 on me, nigga. I don't trust none of y'all sneak dissers. Broke bitches, weak niggas, everybody wanna compete with us. YBS, we been winners. These other niggas just chicken dinners. I'm eating good, no TV dinners. And she ain't fucking can't kick it with us. Last week I woke up to a groupie hoe, and today I woke up in the studio. Where I might be tomorrow, I don't know. Next year might move on the west coast. Late weekends, early mornings, do say Red Bull in the Fiji water. So much people you can smell the creed on me. Got Italian designers all on me. Ain't had no sleep, it's a long morning. Fuck a bitch when I get horny. Get in the club, starting to get boring. They ain't paying, I show up and I perform. Out of town, I put on. The more niggas look up to us when we come through. We hit the horn, hop out with all this going on. Still hit the hood, see what's going on. Just got a phone call from Lil Ron. So we gon' go cop out tomorrow. Since day one, been my round niggas. We ain't breathing like these clown niggas. I've been doing this since I was wild niggas. In and out of hotels, nigga. Had to do for myself, nigga. Like Nike, I just did it. I'ma have an M when I get finished. I ain't signing for no 50,000, nigga. Made 30,000 last year, nigga. I ain't had to sell no bill, nigga. And I still don't got no kill, nigga. Cause God blessing all the real niggas. Last week I woke up to a group last week.
Man, what it is? Hold up. Gotta get the day started right. Gotta get the day started right. Let it work. Tackles and Blacksburg. I got the Same business. I man say now be on the shit that we be on. Hold on, y'all. Alright, I'm back. Yo, so yeah, I don't trust that shooting that happened in Australia. That shit suspect as a bitch. Did y'all see that? Yo, you can't, whenever video footage come out like that of a situation, don't trust it. Try and tell you. Look at this shit, y'all. Let's show y'all some video of this shit before I pull off. Look at this shit. Show y'all this shit, man. Tell y'all don't trust nothing that got that much video footage. All angles and shit. Like, man, come on now. So a father and son is the ones that supposedly did this. Look. Government responsible for a Barn Beach attack that killed 15 people after targeting Jewish celebration were a father and son. The 50-year-old father died at the scene, while his son, 24, remains in hospital in critical condition. Let me show y'all this shit, though, y'all. Damn, be on this shit that we be on. Look at this, y'all. Look at this.
Get down, boys, get down. Oh my God. Fireworks.
Got closer with. Man, don't trust nothing that look like that, y'all. You gonna trust nothing that look like that. Why? How was that all on video? All that on video. You got the dude recording damn near 20 feet away. He ain't never look back and shoot at him. Like if you're in the middle of shooting and somebody recording, you would think that you would turn around and shoot at the motherfucker that's recording. And then you got the one guy, he walking right in front of the gun. He ain't make. Let me show y'all this shit again, man. Like, oh, this shit is crazy. Hold on.
Boys, get down. Oh my God. Fireworks.
Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Ain't no way. They must be trying to push They must be trying to push some type of legislation over there or something. Needed that shit to happen so they, so they can gain more traction. Cause I don't understand that. Ain't no fucking way a motherfucker I'm in the middle of shooting, and a motherfucker that close recording, and I don't turn around and shoot at them too. I don't know. Way too much video footage. Like, why they wasn't scared? You know what I mean? Gunshot. You got a big ass long rifle shooting, killing people, and they sitting there recording 20 feet away. Nah, y'all. That's a little suspect to me. We'll see what happens over there. See what type of shit they got. See what type of shit they pushing. But yeah, we gotta talk about this Erika Kirk. I don't trust Erika Kirk, yo. And they say one of the worst enemies you can have is a motherfucker right beside you, man. Sleeping in the same bed as you, man. Shorty is suspect. Everything about her. From how he met the girl to everything that's going on now. Suspect, yo. I told y'all, when you get a certain amount of money, especially in the political or entertainment business, when you got influence, yo, I think they send people your way, man. I think they send you handlers. You know what I mean? And you don't know who they is. They could be, your handler could be your fucking wife, your agent, your manager, your trainer. Ain't no telling who it is. Ain't no telling who it is, y'all. And how she been moving, and Turning Point been moving since his death, has been nothing short of fucking strange. You got Candace Owens questioning everything. And to me, I would question everything the government put out as well. Y'all know how we operate. I don't trust nothing they say. So it deserves to be questioned. But you got Turning Point USA, who's lost their founder. They're not questioning nothing. You feel me? So like the whole situation just don't make sense. Now she's on this fucking interview tour. Now she on this interview tour. I just don't trust her, y'all. God damn it. I don't think she's authentic. I don't think she's trustworthy. She wasn't there when the shooting took place. And from what I understand, she's typically at all his speaking engagements. For some reason, she missed that. You got Candace Owens highlighting the fact that an Egyptian plane was following them around. She couldn't really answer that question as to why. For what reason? There was just a lot of suspect activity going on around her and Turning Point USA. Like, typically in those situations, you don't even, like, your spouse don't normally take over the business. They normally hire you next. Was she next in line? Was she the CFO or the CEO? Like, how is she inherit your business, man? And in a situation like that, when you just lost somebody, inheriting a business right after that, that's suspect in itself. Like, do you really got time? Do you got the mental capacity to pick up where he left off? Like, it's just a lot of questions. It just don't really make sense. But she did an interview. Matter of fact, Hassan Campbell just did something on her. I want to show a clip that he played.
Love slots? The DraftKings Casino X got you covered. They got tons of slots to choose from, like Cash Eruption. Weird is going on. Everywhere, CBS News, people that were in the audience I showed you were emailing me, and they had to do multiple takes because Barry wanted to read a prompter. These questions were pre-submitted, okay? And I would like to respond to this loaded question. What would you like to say? The podcaster Candace Owens, I'm not even going to address this repeat talking point about people making money, except for the people that have actually made off of all of the money, millions upon millions of dollars. But this is the new thing. It's like, if you keep doing what you were already doing in podcasting, or keep doing what you were already doing and doing ballistics on YouTube, if you catch a bunch of views, they want to convince you that like you wake up and you turn into a millionaire. Building her business, what are you talking about? I already had this business. I was already at the top of the charts. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I actually did, because it's so ridiculous, okay? But she says, I'm lying. And Erika responds, and her answer to what do you want to say to the podcaster Candace Owens who is lying is stop. So Erika would like me to stop lying. And I would like to honor that, okay? I can only honor that if Erika is more explicit in terms of what I have lied about. You could just start like going through them. Maybe they will. By the way, it's coming out on Saturday. Maybe I've made a mistake somewhere and I'm happy. I want to correct that, right? I'm not interested. My goal is not to tell lies. It is obviously plausible that I have made mistakes. I've reviewed these lists that we've put together and I can't find the lie, okay? The lies that I find are coming out of Turning Point USA. Why is there not this same energy also for the feds? Because they told some lies. So what am I lying about? Explicitly lying about. Not made a molecular or a minor mistake. We got a time zone wrong. And it's like, she lied. The plane left a couple of hours earlier. Maybe somewhere I made a mistake on a timeline of Charlie being here on this day when he's actually there on that day. But I'm talking like, where am I lying? It's like, I would like to stop if you can tell me.
This is the definition of why I say
Hold on.
being sold to us.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
From
There was something else she showed. Alright, look at this.
and now you inherited the bullet, and she inherited your kingdom. Imagine that.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense with Erika Kirk. She's not your average girl next door. She came from money. Erika's parents worked for the Department of Defense.
She was getting involved with the government, so Homeland Security and Department of Defense.
Her grandfather was knighted by the King of Sweden. Erika also ran a nonprofit called Romanian Angels, which was accused of child trafficking. What are you doing in Romania? Also, she was an actress in a music video and in the reality TV show Summer House. Plus, she was Miss Arizona in 2012 under Trump's pageant. So wait, you got Trump that's owned by Israel, Trump's team that arranged the interview between Erika and Charlie when they first met. You got Charlie that was starting to raise questions about Israel's influence on American politics. You have the youth of America that looked up to Charlie, and then you have Erika who inherits his work and is now expanding it, completely ignoring the Israel question that Charlie was raising. Turning Point USA is perfectly organized to brainwash the youth. So watch what they push and watch who benefits, because the official story doesn't add up.
Yo. This shit don't add up. Nothing that been going on. Nothing that been going on since his death adds up, man. For real. I don't trust her. And then you got the ignorant people that say, well, you know, she just lost somebody. Man, I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. That girl moving crazy. You heard me? That girl's moving crazy, man. The fake tears, the posting the video of him after he died, and man, I don't trust none of that shit, man. Like, it looked like to me she was part of the play. That's just what it looked like to me, though. I could be wrong. That's the fuck it looks like.
And others invited by CBS News. You're going to be hearing.
Now she doing town halls. Like, is she even qualified to do these question and answer town halls? Like, what the fuck? How she just jump into the seat? She ain't got no history of this. She just jump into the seat now. She answering questions about similar topics that Charlie Kirk touched. Even though I'm not even a fan of Charlie Kirk, but I'm even a bigger not a fan of being backdoored by a person that you thought was, you know what I mean, your companion. That's what it looks like. I don't know how it looked like to everybody else. But it looked like me, she was part of the play. You know, because historically, we know that he didn't just get killed by one person, yo. That's never the case. I don't give a fuck how many times they try to sell us that idea. Historically, whenever somebody is assassinated, it is a collaborative effort. You know what I mean? It's way bigger than what it looks like. Historically. That's how that shit always go. It's never a lone gunman. Never a lone gunman. Yeah, yo, she on some bullshit. So she did this interview. Let's check it out.
Hearing from some of them tonight. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. So Erika, let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I was very grateful when you had reached out, because it was an opportunity to be able to have a conversation that Charlie always enjoyed, being able to have dialogue on both sides so that people could really hear everything that's going on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for making the time. There's so many subjects I want to cover. I want to begin with the hours and days after your husband was murdered.
Yes.
You got up in his podcast studio where he broadcasted from for many hours every day.
Yeah.
And you said this. You said, "You have no idea what you have just unleashed." What did you mean by that?
Yeah,
let me give you a little background of that day. We get home. The team goes to dinner. I'm laying in my daughter's bed and I can't sleep.
Oh, Lord.
It took me months to even walk into my bedroom. I'm laying in my daughter's bed. I can't sleep. I grab my phone and I start typing out it.
Mobile now available at Walmart. Buy select 5G phone, pay you back. That's right.
Start typing out it. And those are my words. That morning, the team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live, or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent. What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was a...
What you mean she ain't have nothing to hide? At that point, I don't think anybody was questioning her. She like why would that even need to be said? I have nothing to hide. We talking about days after the murder. Why would a question in her mind be, I don't have anything to hide? When nobody at the time was even looking at her questionable. Of course you ain't had nothing to hide. At that point, you know, everything was still up and up. He had just passed. So I think that's strange for her to even say that, to be honest. Hold up.
Was assassinated. He didn't die in a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. That is a revival that's unleashed. That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 31 years. And so, yes, you have no idea what has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that He only can to bring glory to Him and to the kingdom. And it has been unbelievably powerful. And it's just the beginning.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this: they kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you. I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us. My husband did something very simple. He talked to people. You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your...
Man, what happened to the tears? See, I never said that. You know, I don't think anybody should be murdered for things that they speak. But we can't act like there's not a history of this in the United States. And when you start going off script the way that he did, you know, because he went off script, your life might be in jeopardy. That was my take on it. I ain't say he deserved anything. But when you go off script like that, you gotta expect the worst. You gotta prepare for the worst. And I think he did prepare for the worst. If you let Candace Owens talk, he knew his day was coming. Because once you gather a support system, and once you take them people money the way he took them people money, you got to stay on script. They're paying you to push our message. So whenever you deviate from the message, or you are now an enemy, you are now a threat, and your life is in danger, man. That's how it's always went in this country. Always. It didn't just start with Charlie Kirk. That was my thing with the situation. A lot of people was acting like this was new, or was surprised or shocked. Once I seen his message, I'm like, man, niggas, people ain't see this coming. Ain't no way people ain't see this coming, man. It's America. Freedom of speech, not freedom of consequence, man. You gotta remember that. Man, this should take me to the back roads, man. I might get might be service, man.
Your ideas. And if you think it's okay to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them, because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, they should be murdered, and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that? That is evil. Evil. Excuse me.
As you know, and as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erika, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence. And that brings us tonight to our first...
She pushing a false narrative. That's not the ideals of young people. That's what history has showed us in America. Like, it's not the ideal. That's why she just pushed a false narrative, man. She's not telling the truth. History in America showed us that you can be killed. When you got a following, you can be killed for some of the things you say. You got a long history of this. Like, it ain't just happened yesterday. You can take this all the way back to the 60s.
The audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the civil libertarian group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, and he writes passionately about issues of free speech. Angel.
Thank you, Perry. Excuse me.
There's no such thing
my
as free
condolences.
speech.
A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another FIRE survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in rare cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're saying XYZ and they deserve to die. My husband never once said that, and he never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down.
Y'all know she an actor.
Tell me why you
too,
believe
y'all.
that.
Y'all remember she's an actor.
That's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop. It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone. He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone. And what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck. Totally different. But you have secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, you can't say that, and I'm going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to... Why?
Who's she talking
You don't
about?
have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And this is what is so fascinating to me. My husband knew that something as simple as having a conversation could change the world. So simple. That is an ancient thing. Come and sit down and have coffee with me. Why do you believe what you believe? 80s and 90s, they were doing this in Congress, then going to have a Subway afterwards. Why don't we do that anymore? Instead, it's violence. Usually one-sided. I'm not going to go there. But you know what's so interesting about my husband's book? The last book he will ever write. It could have been about politics. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. He was multidimensional. It literally says, stop in the name of God. Stop. Stop the violence. Stop the hate. Have a conversation. Stop. And what he knew in that book was not just so much stop that, take a minute to get off of your phone and realize that we are all human, operating on this broken planet, all sinful, no one's perfect, and we're not getting out of here alive. But what he knew in that book was the balancing factor of communication. You cannot communicate with someone if you're not at peace with yourself. So he went on campus talking to a kid. They're screaming at him. Screaming. Does he scream back? Not once.
She an actor.
He sits there. And you know what he's thinking? It's in that book. Maybe you need to take a few hours. Get off your phone. Go for a walk in nature. Go sit and have a coffee. Go and tell your mother you love her. Go do something that is beautiful and healing instead of trying to tear something down that you did not build. That's my thought on that.
We're going to talk about the book in a little bit, but I want to pick up on a theme that you've now hit on twice, which is the idea that the black squares that we all have in our pocket, our phones,
yes,
that they are doing something to us collectively, that they are dehumanizing us. Later, we'll talk about the conspiracies that are spreading right now on those platforms about who killed your husband. What do you recommend to people sitting in this room? What are your practices?
I think it's fake too.
Disconnect, to reconnect by disconnecting.
Well, like my husband, I took all of it off my phone.
All social media off your phone?
No, I don't have it on my phone. I have a team that helps run it. I really, everyone has an opinion about me. I could care less. You know what I care about? I care about what my daughter says about me and her running up into my arms and loving on me. That's what I care about.
One of the things that has happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than most people will say in a lifetime. And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show.
Correct.
But he did say those things.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of what he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He loved excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA. The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea that whole, there's a lot more there than just that one little sentence. My husband is not to be deteriorated to two sentences. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man. So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of context without the whole thing in perspective. But that's the problem.
Does it bother you that people are picking out those statements and drawing an entire picture of who he was?
Again, that's the problem. You're not having a conversation. You're having a 15-second clip to define your thought of who someone is, instead of taking the time to educate yourself on truly who that person is, what they thought. Because why? They challenged you to think a little different. Again, my husband was an amazing man. We're human. But I do not once, for 1 second, think he was anything else than exceptional.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity, and I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder.
Who was his
I
camp?
believe that they stoke the flames of violence.
His camp? He got
But
a
even
camp?
worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that Turning Point has been asking Democrats to...
What camp is he a part of, man? He said a lot of people in his camp. I didn't know he had a camp. I thought he just was a college student. We in a fraternity or something? I think he should have elaborated more on this camp that he's a part of, where people saying these things. It's my opinion.
Cry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
I appreciate your question. You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people? This is
That's a crazy
so
ass
much
question.
deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home, okay? This starts with family. This starts with a seed that grows and grows. You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence. My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else. We have to look in the mirror. When you become a father, when you become a mother, how are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action from that is, parents, step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin? That's where we're at.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part. I'm not in control of other people.
That's what she doing?
Okay. Ahead, a father whose daughter was murdered in cold blood because of who she was. He's here. Also, political violence and the conspiracy theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Stay with us. Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah...
Just as our family here in New York...
You're in good company, and I will pray for you. It sucks, doesn't it?
Yo, she putting on a whole show.
Hate is hate. It's evil.
I don't trust her.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful.
Oh, so he's
awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out in Jewish people.
Like, damn, yo, like, anti-Semitism to save your life in 2025, man. Yo, this is crazy, yo. You say anything about the people, you anti-Semitic. God damn, yo.
What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot.
Yo, they got.
I would always say
their history must be very flawed in order for you not to be able to say one word about it. Like, what do they hide? They got to be hiding something, man. Something ain't right, man. Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but typically, yo, when people don't want you speaking on them, it's because you hiding something. You know, you don't want something to be exposed. So anything you say about them, it need to be addressed immediately. You know, because the truth might come out, and the truth ain't gonna be good for them. That's just my opinion, yo. I just think it's very strange that you can't say nothing about them people, yo, without being called anti-Semitic.
We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in... People say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick. And it needs to stop. We are human. No one is perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen, and I pray that that is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world.
What's the
But we
relevance?
are living in enemy-occupied territory.
So
and every single day we need...
My question, right? If Israel had nothing to do with this shit, right? Obviously, this guy is Jewish. And they're alluding to the fact that his daughter was killed for being Jewish. But if Charlie Kirk death wasn't related to anything like that, I don't understand what's the relevance of them even having this conversation. What's the relevance? You know? I don't get it.
To guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart, and the best way to do that is reading God's Word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Wow.
Yeah, so we're all...
Is that their job? It's Turning Point USA job to combat anti-Semitism? Like, I don't know. Y'all starting to get confused. Y'all. Is that what they supposed to do? Somebody let me know in the comments, man. It's Turning Point job in the United States is to control anti-Semitism. Let me know.
Our college campus and high school campuses, we have these conversations. And our students understand exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so, even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. And we're going to do the best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about
He was planted there.
discernment.
Yes.
Okay, being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality. A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual story behind the reality. One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me and you were Charlie's handler and Israel killed Charlie. Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think all these people got handles, man. You just don't know who they are. Might have a child by one. You never know, man. Yo, what you gotta understand, what y'all gotta understand about America is controlling the narrative is like, if they lose control of the narrative, they deem that a national security risk. So whenever a person has a large following, in order for them to save themselves from this risk, they gotta give you a handle. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying this is how they view it. We gotta make sure the words that is coming out of this person's mouth, whoever this person is completely controlled or manipulated in a way that benefits us. You know, because you gotta remember, America is a business first. It's a business first, man. America is always going to protect the interests of America, the business, not the people. So I don't think that's too much of a, like they present it like it's a far stretch of the imagination, like it's no way possible that this can be a thing. And I completely disagree. I think it's more likely than not, to be honest. I think it's more likely than not, considering this country and how this country is ran and how this country views people with influence and sway public opinion.
Right. Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon t-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
My kids'
your
initials,
kids' initials,
my wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
but apparently they symbolize some kind of secret thought. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking. What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips. Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this. Egyptian planes.
Let's just
No, Egyptian
do you
planes.
believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
This don't make sense.
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. The prosecutor.
Yo, why haven't we seen a video of Tyler Robinson climbing onto that roof? We see the video of him getting off. Where's the video of him climbing up there? Now, if they got a video of him getting off, they should most definitely have a video of him getting there and climbing up to the top of that building. We don't see none of that. Why has that video haven't been released? We should see video from the whole incident, from the time he got there, climbed up on the roof, set up, shot, got off the roof. Why we ain't getting none of that video? It gotta exist. It has to exist. That's what's leaving all these questions. Transparency.
Team, I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, we'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trials pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case. Just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become. Okay,
Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one. Only because, from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private. But it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I am wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
I don't think Candace Owens ever said that she was on the Egyptian plane. I think, if I ain't mistaken, what Candace Owens said is she was followed by an Egyptian plane. Ain't that what she said, y'all? I don't think she said she was on it.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Okay.
That's it?
The next question comes from a person who may be familiar to you, Erika.
Man, I don't trust her, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. She looking very, very suspect right now, man. Very suspect. Her husband got killed and she just inherited everything. And from what I understand, she's not even pushing the same message that he was pushing. Like if they took his life for speaking, you would think that she would continue the fight, continue the same message. Looked like to me the message changed. Man. But y'all just got to work fucking late. Had to take my kids to school. Had a 2-hour delay. So yo, make sure I hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the live. Yo, she did a whole bunch of interviews. It's like what she's trying to do is she's trying to get out in front of the bullshit. But it's making it worse. Yo, like I said, first red flag was her even being the CEO. Like, who does that, man? Your husband just got murdered and you the CEO? So with all the stress that you supposed to endure post the murder of your husband, you still got time to run a motherfucking $1 million corporation? Like, that's not normal. It's not normal, man. Like, her whole history isn't normal. It's all strange. I think she was sent this way, man. I do. I think she was sent this way to keep an eye on him and to make sure, almost like to have eyes on the inside. It's like another COINTELPRO type situation. That's all. People familiar with that. Yo, but I just got to work, man. Baby out here in this fucking snow. Man, I don't want to be Candace. If I was Candace, I wasn't going nowhere near them people. Candace gotta be careful. It's too vocal. Can't be too vocal and have an audience in this country, man. It's against the law. They might as well make it a law, man. Just be obvious with it. If you're too vocal and you have an audience, watch the fuck you say, man. Watch what you say. That's why media is so manipulated, but y'all, because you can't have in America, well, in the world, you can't have everybody really having an opinion. That's why some of these people that's online, you don't know who they work for, you don't know who they are, you don't know if they're agents, you don't know anything. You don't know who these people is, man. I told y'all a while ago that the feds took over social media in 2008. Look at Eric Snowden. That's what Eric Snowden was talking about. How the federal government was extracting information from extracting our personal information from Google and other social media sites. And that was in 2008. So it's not a stretch of the imagination to think that in 2025 they don't got actually federal agents on the internet portraying as influencers, you know, to see how important it was for them to get out information, let you know how important it is for them to control the narrative and to keep an eye on people. That's what they do, man. That's what they always did. Yeah, man. They ain't never been a friend of the people. But like I say, I'm running. I gotta get to work. Make sure that like button. Make sure you share it live. So now they keep you news. Never mind.